So hey guys, welcome to another Warframe video, and today I want to check out Voltage Sequence, which is a Lanka specific mod that's been added with the latest update. Now at the moment, you can pick it up from Ergo Glass for 75 Animo nav beacons, but you should eventually be able to pick this up from the Pattern Sequence Syndicate. Now just like the other mods that have been added with the latest update, it's pretty straightforward. When you have it equipped on the Lanka and you kill a flying enemy, they will drop an arc trap that will zap nearby enemies for 8 seconds. Now the arc trap doesn't actually do a lot of damage, it does about 5 to 10 damage with each damage tick, but the tick frequency is insane, so it can actually do a decent amount of damage. And the really cool thing about the arc traps is that they have a guaranteed electricity proc, so they will stun everything that comes near them. And since it is a mod from the Pattern Sequence, it also adds the sequence effect, which once you gather enough affinity will explode, dealing 1000 radiation damage to all enemies within 25 meters, and it will affect all the enemies hit with radiation, making them attack and be attacked by everything. And the secondary effect here is that it will boost your base shields by 50% for 30 seconds and restore 25% of your maximum shields as well. Now one really cool thing about this is that you don't have to specifically target the flying enemies. You will get the arc trap to spawn even if you kill them with AoE, which is really good because the most common build for the Lanka uses electricity and gas, both of which do AoE. Unfortunately though, it doesn't work with the explosion you get from the sequence effect. Now, even though the community reaction to this mod ranges from meh to this is completely useless, I think this may be my favorite one. It's kind of useless versus the Grenier because they don't really have any flying units for you to use this on, but it works fine versus the other factions. It even works pretty well versus the Infested, even though I would never recommend fighting the Infested with a sniper rifle. It works because if you manage to shoot one of the Mutalist Ospreys, they will drop the arc trap and stun all the Infested running towards you, so you can mow them down with gas and electricity from the Lanka. And if you get enough affinity and you get the sequence effect to go off, it will affect everything with radiation, which will cause them to group up and fight each other, which once again makes them really easy to take down with gas and electricity from the Lanka. It's not ideal by any means, but it actually makes the Lanka usable in infested missions. The most obvious faction to use this mod against, as well as the Lanka in general, are the Corpus, because they have a ton of Ospreys, so you can get a lot of arc traps in each mission. And radiation overall is just good versus the Corpus because it's strong versus machinery. But that's not everything, because turns out the arc traps are devastating to nullifiers. Sadly though, as you can see over here, it doesn't change. So if you kill a flying enemy and they spawn an arc trap, if that arc trap then kills another flying enemy, it won't spawn another arc trap. But let's not forget about the Corrupted, which I think is the faction where this mod really shines. Because the majority of the flying units from the Corpus faction are combat units, so they will actively try to fight you by either dropping mines or the little sapping, for the want of a better word, things. The Orokin drones, on the other hand, are a supportive unit, so they spend the majority of their time hovering around groups of enemies, providing them bonus shields, which vastly increases the chances of you actually hitting a group of enemies with the arc trap. You just fire off a bolt into a group of Corrupted, and if there is a drone there, it will probably get killed by either gas or electricity, and it will spawn an arc trap which will then crowd control the group and destroy any nullifier bubbles that are nearby, which is awesome. So if you're a fan of Lanka, I would definitely recommend you try this mod out. However, there are some things that are not so good. First of all, it's a somewhat niche mod because, as I've said already, versus the Grenier, you're only really getting the sequence effect since they don't have any flying enemies. And even if you're fighting the Corpus or Corrupted, sometimes you just won't get any flying enemies to spawn. Second of all, the range of the arc traps is fairly short, and it's far too easy to just shoot a flying enemy and have the arc trap drop somewhere where it's not going to reach anyone. And third of all, when you shoot a flying enemy, the arc trap will spawn where that enemy was, and then it falls to the floor. The problem is that sometimes it falls through the floor and it doesn't do anything, which is not that great. But outside of that, yeah, this mod is actually pretty damn good, and I would definitely recommend picking it up if you like playing with the Lanka. And that's pretty much it for the video, so I thank you very much for watching as always, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.